standard parlance actually mean you're creating anything. And I think that's a differentiation I was contemplating today.
Okay, so can you expand on that a bit?
So like being productive can be very much just, I think it can, I mean, like I said, in common parlance, it can be facilitating. It can be making things get unstuck, but it's not necessarily producing anything that wasn't already there or wasn't already going to be there. And that's, I don't know, something about there's some kind of differentiation there for me between creating something versus just facilitating or moving something along, I think.
Right.
I,
Well,
I like problem solving a lot, but problem solving by itself just honestly isn't sufficient because it doesn't always accomplish as much as it sounds like it should.
well, I like SI productivity, but most of the things that I'm productive in are, I guess, creative projects of some sort. I'm happy to have gotten that song done, and that that always makes a big impact on me when I get a piece of work done. You got a book done not that long ago, apparently, because you're getting it printed now, right?
Yeah, it's actually, so I'm kind of in a lull right now, which is bugging me. So I'm happy to get this one out because that's the last one that I've got lurking in like editorial mode. So in order to get another one out, I actually have to finish writing another one. So that hopefully should motivate me. But yeah, I get much more satisfaction out of creative productivity than I do other kinds.
Hmm.
And I don't like when non-creative productivity is getting in the way of creative productivity, is kind of preventing it by being too much of
By
it.
by occupying your time.
But occupying my time and my attention, and it also makes like I feel like I'm not being lazy because I'm technically, or I seem to be being productive, then but then I'm not actually, but I'm not, it keeps me from being motivated to go ahead and be productive creatively, I think. Or it
Hmm.
certainly reduces the motivation somehow. There's less pressure or something.
So how much of a how much of an audience do you have, or what methodology do you have for building an audience and stuff?
For like my writing,
Yeah,
um,
that's tough.
so I've
Writing's
got
tough.
yeah, it's a mess. So I've got a regional audience for my agricultural humor nonfiction stuff that came about kind of organically. Like I ended up writing this column in the newspaper, and it's been very popular, and that's that's got a pretty wide audience. But they're not the best audience because they're not always the easiest to reach, like remotely or digitally. A lot of it I have to find them in person, but and then just I don't know. Right now, I'm doing a lot of work just trying to spread stuff out there,
Right.
and I've published short stories over the years, and so I've always gotten a good response from those, and I have a small audience from those. But I don't know.
I mean, the tricky thing I think for people who have completed work and continue to do work is if we were to sort of optimize our energies, half of the time would be spent in the maximization of audience, you know?
Yeah,
But that's not something we want to do. It's not
yeah.
fun.
I can put my marketing hat on for some short periods of time, but
Right.
one of the biggest things I'm trying to do that I think is supposed to be is get a second book in a couple of series so that I can make the first book free and get it just like disseminated a whole lot and then come back to the second one. So
Right.
I've
It's a good
decided
idea.
that, probably it would be better to save some of my marketing energy for after I've got sets of two. So, but I've got two of the first books out there. Now I have to finish the second ones and get them out there.
It's a good plan, putting out the first one for free and then having people want to buy the second
Yeah,
one for sure.
there's a lot of evidence that that's pretty effective.
Loki, what about you? What are your musings upon either my musings, Audra's musings, your own musings, or musings itself?
So if I understood correctly, musings are more reflections and like what I
Yeah,
think. Okay.
that's what they are for me. I mean, you can
Uh,
use yourself your own musing definition if you'd like.
I like to use correct definitions. No, I'm currently on a social game with a friend, and there's lots of computer work there done. I've been procrastinating for almost a month now. So I got a deadline on Friday, so I've been working, trying to get into that shit. Um, though, and also I'm trying to find the motivation to do housework. I find that very hard. Do you have any musings on that?
Well, you just gotta be like right now. Like, let's say there's something pretty close and easy to do. Like, let's say you needed to take a trash can out into the trash. You go, okay, Eric, I'm gonna go grab that trash can right now. I'm gonna go take it outside. I utilize this platform to get me started on housework a lot. That's how somebody, okay, I'm gonna take some trash out, okay? And then they go, okay. And I go, okay, I'll be right back. And I take the trash out. And it's easier that way because then somebody else is involved in the process. That's the best advice I really have for it. The other thing is just remember when we want to try to start doing housework, we always want to try to start doing this set of tasks. But you can't start doing a set of tasks. You can only start doing one task. So stop worrying about the set and just do the one task that's right in front of you that you think about doing. Don't come up with a plan so much.
Okay.
Housework doesn't really require planning.
Uh,
We think it does. We think, yeah, but I want to make sure I start in the right room, and I want to make sure that if I'm gonna, because look, I'm gonna move this, I'm gonna have to move that over there, and it takes some organization on that. Just start doing at least one thing and get started on, and then you can worry about the organizational processor, so to speak, as you go.
hmm Well, I don't have much more to give to the video regarding that.
You're done with your musings? Is that what you're saying?
Though, well, at the moment, right now, I can't think of anything else in particular.
That's totally fine, Loki. I wasn't trying to bust your chops about it.
Gotta wake up in
Carolyn,
the
you got
morning.
any musings for us?
Those early morning musings just aren't the same as the late night musings.
These are our nightly musings. Carolyn's contribution. Well, who's morning musings? Who is that? Oh, that's you, Loki. I will tell you, Carolyn, we're musing about just anything significant about our day or whatever. But that's fine. I will end the musings video right here. So those were the musings for the day. My takeaway from it is she can be challenging sometimes. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese. Thanks for watching Talking with Fitness People.
All right.
Yeah.
You stopped using your intros. I've noticed.
Intros?
Yeah. I don't have them on my mind anymore. That's how I noticed.
I do sometimes. It depends if I edit or not. I don't when I don't edit. I do when I do edit, usually.
I'm still thinking of the idea. We talking with infamous people for NCP somewhere. That would be hilarious, though. Don't you say? Now that's a fucking awkward silence.
Still musing. One musing led to another.
Yeah. So, Eric, what was the reason that you were not using like Spreadshirt or something to sell your shirts? Oh, he's probably watching the video again. See if it's fine.
He's here, but he's not really here.
That's how his head moves.
It's such a subtle, like.
Let's analyze his body language. What do you see, Audra?
But it's definitely not morning in California.
California? So it's around 1 a.m. there, I bet. No.
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 It's 11:30.
Yeah. I was thinking, West Coast. East Coast, I mean, for you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Eric's still an hour earlier than me.
You live like just in the middle of the country, like the coastline.
Slightly west of center, I guess.
Mm.
As far as a horizontal definition is concerned. And right now it's super confusing because we just switched to daylight savings time, which is kind of retarded. And so if I go east, I'm changing time zones, and so I'm going into Texas, and it'll be an hour later. And then if I go north, it stays the same. But then if I go back west right now, like the first state west is Arizona, which during not daylight savings time is the same as my state, is the same as regular mountain time. But this time of year, they don't change to daylight savings time, so they're not on the same time as me. They're like the same as California right now, and they go back and forth. So depending on what time of the year it is,
you're confusing
such
a simple. You're making such a simple concept so confusing.